I'm going to speak in English, so I know that we have simultaneous translation, so I'm going to take the opportunity to speak in English as we have. The first thing I would like to highlight is we are combining in a tourism film festival a scientific conference. And I think this is tremendous, clever. I think we're boosting the critical thinking into the audiovisual component. And I thank you for being part of this. I thank you for Francisco. I think we are doing the right thing. We're not only heading to a critical thinking about tourism, but we're doing in this session in particular, combining the audiovisual and the innovative tourism enterprises and initiatives and projects. I think we are really working on the key issues that we are discussing at the moment. Just a short insight. Yesterday I was with a group of people from the rural development. We were combining objectives, and one of the things from the visit we were having to the rural countryside was the difficulty in getting innovative projects applied on the ground. So it's very interesting to be discussing this again today, because I have some questions, I have some doubts, and I'm sure that this discussion will be very valuable to the presentation today. So I'm going to start to present Enrico. Enrico is going to give the first session. You'll present yourself? You maybe, no? Okay. So after the session, then I'll call back again Dorothea. Dorothea will give the second session, then we'll probably discuss everything up here again. So Enrico, thank you. The floor is yours.
So good morning. Once I was asked to write a technological part of a project for a museum. But when I presented the project to my supervisor, he told me something bizarre. He told me, hey, you didn't write anything that I wanted. There is not an innovative project. And I was dumbfounded. I didn't understand why. And after a while, he explained me that in the project, I never used the word innovation or innovative. So for him, the project, it wasn't innovative. And in order to be paid, I spread out the word innovative around the text. So that made me think, what is innovative? It's a very old word. In English, it's called portmanteau word, but French people call it mot valise. And I like this term because it's like a suitcase where you can put inside everything you like. It came from the Latin innovatus, and it means to change. But in reality, we started to use it a lot during the 60s. And the point is, what does it mean today, innovation? And how it happens? I suggest to read a book from Scott Berkan. It's called The Myth of Innovation. And for him, innovation is something that can happen only if you are competent and if you have time. The main point is that time. You need time to become competent, and you need time to let the epiphany work. So, time seems to be the most important element. Even from a theoretical point of view, if you take the two basic philosophical elements, time and space, time is the only one that you cannot produce. If we need space, we can decide to go to Mars, but we cannot produce time. The only thing we can do, we have to change the approach. We can only economize, save time. We have to have an ecological approach to time. So, the question is, what makes me waste a lot of time? During university, I did something that I still regret, something that I'm not proud of. I started to build a website. And when I finished my study in philosophy at the end of the last centuries, it was normal for me to start to work in the ICT business. And I started to do projects all the time, very innovative projects. And it became quite project-holic. I was quite sick of projects. And to become more efficient, I tried every kind of methods or every kind of new best practices. But every year I felt sicker than the year before. Then one summer, I met again my professor of philosophy from high school. It was a nice guy. It looked like a bit like Rowan Atkinson, but I don't know if you know, this guy studied at Oxford and it's a very intelligent one. And so was my professor. And I started to talk with him and to explain to him the difficulty I had doing projects and how the future was unseizable. I couldn't plan anything very well. So he asked me to get up and asked me, show me the future, where is it for you? So I got up, I looked around, I stared far away, pointing the horizon, and I pointed it to me. For me, the horizon was, the future was there, toward the horizon. And he told me something that he looked at me, I recorded him smiling, and he told me something that I remember ever since. He told me, for everybody nowadays, the future is in front of us. But in reality, for ancient Greeks, the future was behind their back. So you couldn't see the future just arrived on your back. And that's why I decided to spend 8 years of my life studying the project, not as a list of tasks, but as a human phenomenon. And during this year, I could find something very interesting. I started to study project to find the best way to do project. But at the end, I finally found that the equation was this one. If we do less useless projects, we can have more time. The result of this investigation was a book that is called Skip the Art of Avoiding Projects. And the inspiration came from my own experience building websites. There was a period in the history of the website when a customer asked for welcome pages. And those pages were wonderful, animated, plenty of sounds, and they could cost even more than a project. But after a while, they became annoyed. So every developer started to put a little button in the page, and the button was skip. That means that we could avoid the long welcome page. And there I asked to myself, why if instead of adding a button at the beginning of the presentation, we avoided to do the animation. We avoided to do the animation at the very beginning. So why instead of using the skip as an option, we could use it as an imperative rule? And I arrived to a solution working on needs, but to be practical, I showed you today 4 elements that helped me to understand how to recognize the project that we should skip at the very beginning. I'm not original. In reality, I only recycled old philosophical evidences, and I found 4 of them. The first one is the conflict of interest. If during a project nobody highlighted the conflict of interest, then this project should be skipped. For example, if you take a manager, a project manager, he may prefer to do a useless project because he has to justify his role. Why on earth we need a project manager if we don't have any project to do? And the same is for a consultant. If a consultant advises somebody to stop a project, he has a very real problem because he risks to be unemployed. So for a consultant, a project is vital. Before starting a project, we have to highlight the conflict of interest. And here I only recycle Pericles, that in a very famous funeral oration written by Thucydides, told us how the democracy is important for us and how to defend the democracy we should focus and highlight any kind of conflict of interest. And we should do the same for projects, fight any kind of conflict of interest. But another point is fighting the cognitive biases. Maybe you don't know, but we are irrational, very irrational. Any kind of decision we make is biased. And that's why there is a long list of biases. That's why when we are a meeting and we are late, we are telling that we'll be at the meeting in 5 minutes, but we can't get in 5 minutes at the meeting because we are always unable to plan the future and to forecast the future. And this is only the planning fallacy, but we are plenty of them. The point is that if in doing a project we didn't focus on the biases, and if everybody is hyper confident of his decision, then these projects is at risk. And here I only recycle the Descartes that used to say, never accept a thing as true. There is another point, and it's the perimeter of competences. If everybody in a project, the competence one and the inept one, the non-competent, have the same power to take a decision, then you should skip this project. I'm not talking of the brainstorming phase, I'm talking of the decision-making process. If we let non-competent people taking a decision, at the end we have to manage with a bad decision. And here I'm only reciting Socrates, that he used to say, be aware of your ignorance. But he used also to say that he knew nothing. In fact, he knew something. The best thing Socrates could do was highlighting the perimeter of competence of other people. He could accept experts as advisors from experts, but he couldn't stand people that wasn't competent. And so if you like to investigate on the subject, I suggest an old book again. It's a book from Lawrence Pitcher, and it's called The Printer's Principles. It was published the first time in '69. And the fourth and the last signal that showed me how to skip a project is the conceptual language. If during a project a non-shared conceptual language is used, then you should skip this project. When we communicate, we use metaphors and symbols because conceptual language is very difficult to understand. And it suffers of something called polysemy. That means that one word can have multiple meanings. A simple word like mouse can be the little animal of a technological device, but conceptual words like awareness, usability, participation, affordance, collaboration can have a lot of meaning inside. And generally you can go to a meeting where people use words that they don't know. We must be careful when people do like that. And I use a trick to be aware of it. I generally go to a conference with it may seem anachronistic, but with an etymological dictionary near to me. And any time somebody uses conceptual words, I took the dictionary and I find the deep meaning of these new words. And that helped me to know if the project should be skipped or not. Here I'm reciting Ludwig Wittgenstein, that in a great book, it's called Tractatus Logico-Philosophicus, wrote something very interesting. He wrote, whereof one cannot speak, thereof one must be silent. That's a very kind, philosophical way to say, if you don't know something, you should shut up. But it's the chapter number 7. But in the same book, in chapter number 4, he told us that most of the propositions used in the history of philosophy are not false, but are only senseless. Now, if Wittgenstein thought that even philosophers that work with words use senseless words, can you imagine how senseless words we have in a project nowadays? And that's why, if in a project you listen a lot of conceptual language or words, you should think if the project is at risk. Now, together, we looked at the past not in a romantic way, but in a classical and analytic approach. We use an ancient point of view to understand the underlying meaning, because I strongly believe that the past is a gold mine. It's there that we can find our semantical capital. Like etymology can help open horizons, at the same time, tourism and destination must lie their foundation on the previous periods. And in fact, then and only then we can be creative and innovative. In fact, if the future is behind our back, that must mean that to be innovative, we have to look in front of us, into the past. Thank you very much.